Hello everybody, welcome back to another episode of Play by Play, Off Air and Online. It is all things FIFA World Cup 2026. We're down to the business end of the competition. And as always, also actually before I even introduce him, there's also the small matter of the Nations Championship, which is currently underway. So it's all things oval ball, all things round ball. And who better to sit and chat to me about this than the man, the myth, the legend, our sports plug. I'm getting it right every single week.
Nice.
Adrian and Lee, how's it, brother?
Good. Nice to see you again. I didn't see you on Saturday. I was away. And I didn't see you the week before that because you were away. So now it's like we're finally together again. It's been a while.
It's been a while. It feels like my sporting knowledge dips. The less I see of you, the sort of my sporting knowledge does this, and then I see you again, and I go, I can walk the streets of Cape Town telling people all the things you tell me.
Nice.
But I'm not quite sure if this outfit you have on here is by any means in relation to what's happening on the FIFA World Cup.
No, not at all.
Because I do see a tinge of red-orange, which is very Spanish to me.
Yes, true.
There's an American South African flag on your arm.
Yeah.
Talk me through. Are you sending any secret messages?
No,
here?
there's no subliminal messaging here. You know, I'm just wearing this because it's cold. It's very cold in Cape Town today.
It is.
So this was just the warmest thing I could find. I wanted to wear my Bafana shirt just because even though I know we're out of the competition, I'm still very happy with what we managed to achieve and all that, but it was a little bit too cold for that, so that's how I went with this. I'm telling you what, hey, obviously we are filming this on a Tuesday, so we don't know yet who's in the final. When this releases, we'll probably know then already who's in the final. But I was just telling our camera person off air that I really hope it's not Spain in the final. And purely just because I'm not a big fan of Spain's football at the moment.
Really?
I'm not a fan. I think
Possession-based game?
I see them play and I'm reminded of Arsenal, which I know can be, it leads to good results in the end of the day. And I mean, Spain are in the semi-finals and potentially even a final right now, but I'm not a big fan of how they've been playing this tournament. So I'm hoping that's not the case. I would love to see, and again, I would love to come back to this and see if I was right or wrong, a France-England final.
Wow.
I think that could be probably the most exciting final.
Interesting that you would go down that road.
That's what I'm hoping for. And I think that could very well be what we get in the end.
You reckon?
Yeah, I think obviously France have just come off. I mean, 2 years ago they lost to Spain in the Euro semi-final, so they understand. I would hope that they've learned a lot more. And I'm just looking at Spain and France's sort of journey to the semi-final. They've been the better team. I think France have been the better team.
Yeah.
And then with Argentina, England, I feel like Argentina have just gotten very lucky at lots of points in this tournament.
Well, who have they really played?
Yeah, I mean.
I say this with a lot of respect.
Yes.
But who have they played of real significance?
That's the thing. And I mean, I'm not jumping on the I love Messi, as you know, I've said it on the pod before. I love Messi. I love Argentina because of Messi.
Me too.
So I'm not trying to say that I'm not buying into this narrative of FIFA's corrupt and they're favoring Argentina. I'm not buying into that. But if we just look at their path to the semi-final, they haven't had to come up against any top 10 nations. Now, obviously, that is also down to just the fact that a lot of the teams who ended up placing the way they did were surprises. I mean, we didn't think that we would see someone like Switzerland being in a quarterfinal. I don't think that anyone saw that. They could have faced someone like Portugal, actually, in a quarterfinal if things had gone a bit differently. So I do think at the same time, it is just because some teams definitely didn't perform as much as we thought they would. But we can't deny that if you look at a team like France versus a team like Argentina, they've definitely had an easier route so far to this final, and they still haven't been very clinical. They still haven't been putting games away. They've had to rely on extra time against teams that they really should be beating comfortably. So I think their luck will finally run out against a team like England, who have been very consistent. They've been scoring goals. They've been managing to get back into games. So yeah, I could watch this back in 2 days' time and eat my words completely. But I'm hoping that we see a France-England final. I think that would be the most exciting final we could get.
The question for me is, if I look at France versus Spain, and we just unpack that very quickly, of course, unfortunately, by the time this goes out, we would know the answer to a lot of these things.
Yeah.
Is it the Lamine Yamal versus the Mbappe show? Or are you seeing other players in Spain come to the fore as opposed to, look, we know Mbappe's playing fantastically.
No, obviously, I think he's probably been definitely the player of the tournament so far. I mean, he's up there with Messi. He has the most goal contributions as well.
And then the other question I have for you is it, you spoke about Argentina's run to the semi-final.
Yeah.
Is it in their favor or against them that they haven't hit their straps? You know, we've seen France come out scoring lots of goals, 3 goals at a time, really per game, almost something silly like that.
Yeah.
And really playing an expansive brand, you know, Ousmane Dembele playing really well, Olise playing really well.
Yeah.
The question is, do you want to come into a semi-final having not yet hit your straps or having already hit your straps?
Yeah.
And then a player like Lamar, I say, Lamine Yamal versus Mbappe. Lamine Yamal hasn't really hit his straps yet.
No, he hasn't.
Mbappe is flying.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think that was the narrative going in. We were very excited to see the likes of Yamal now on the stage. He obviously has performed at the Euros. He's been doing really well for Barcelona, but he hasn't yet obviously gotten to play in a World Cup. And I think for him, he can say it himself, he's definitely underperformed. He hasn't been the sort of decisive factor in that Spanish team at all this World Cup. I mean,
if you look at his touches,
he's brilliant. I mean, he is still a brilliant player, and he has whenever he's on the ball and he's sort of driving towards goal, I'm sure every team is nervous because we know what he's capable of. He just hasn't been able to get involved on the score sheet at all, really, this tournament. But that's the thing with him, is he can have as quiet a tournament. It takes a semi-final like this against a very strong opposition where suddenly, you know, a switch can flip and like what he is actually capable of can come out. But I think to answer your previous question about, you know, when do you want to hit your stride? I think for France, they would feel that they started the tournament really well. I mean, they started their group stage, they were perfect in. They did have a bit of a hiccup against Paraguay, but I mean, you can argue Paraguay, they weren't even playing a football match. They were there to wrestle. They weren't even trying, really. But maybe now is the crunch time for them, because they've had it can be very easy now to sort of rest on your laurels a little bit and think, look, we are the favorites now. Everyone is saying it's France's to lose now. They've been the best in the tournament, in my opinion, in many people's opinion. They've been the best, so it almost feels like it's theirs to lose. Spain had a lot to prove coming in, but it just feels like with how slightly inconsistent they've been, slightly that sort of pressure of being the favorites has gone off their shoulders a little bit. And we know, I mean, you know, when you look at the mental game of football, it's a massive factor. So everyone is expecting the likes of Mbappe, Olise, all these players that you mentioned to guard them, perform. And Spain, that might be the perfect chance for them to actually, you know, see some of their players turning up and putting in good shifts and actually getting a result. So it's always possible. But I think that's the most exciting part, is we have a case where in these final 4 teams that are in the semis, it's the top 4 rated teams in the world. I mean, coming into this World Cup, these were first, second, third, and fourth teams in the world. So we are seeing genuinely the best in the world playing in these semi-finals. And again, we can sit here for hours and talk about the tactics and all this and head to head and who could have. We don't know what's going to happen. We don't know. When you watch this, you'll know. And either way, this could really go either way. But
let's stick your neck out.
So
only France and Spain. 2018 champions France versus going up against 2010, of course, right here on our doorstep in South Africa. Champions in Spain. Which way are you leaning?
I'm leaning towards France. I am. I really am. I think if I just look at their tournament so far, if I look at, they have so many more players they can rely on. I think for France, I mean, for Spain, obviously their midfield's great. Their defense is good as well. Their goalkeepers had an amazing run, but they're sort of lacking a little bit in that attack. They have the likes of Yamal. They have people like Ferran Torres that they usually bring off the bench. France, there's so many people they can turn to. I mean, if for some reason Mbappe is not performing, Dembele can come through, Olise can come through. There's just so many more players, I think, on their attack that they can rely on. So I think I'm going to put France as the winner of that one. England, Argentina, that could go. That's a little bit more.
You think that's a little bit more open?
Slightly more open.
Even based on the performances. I was reading a story quickly before we shipped up to Argentina and England. Lamine Yamal only turned 19 on Monday.
Yeah.
So big weight to put on a young man.
No, definitely. And we're going to see him at a few more World Cups.
Well, the report reads, the headline actually reads, the next 15 years belongs to Lamine Yamal.
Yeah,
so,
100%.
And that 15 years makes it 4, 8, 12. He's played 1 now, 5.
Yeah.
Can he do Cristiano?
He could beat Cristiano Ronaldo's record. Yeah, he could carry on. Yeah. It's all about how he manages to keep that going. I mean, we've seen it before where players burst onto the scene and they unfortunately fade. But he is, I mean, he has everything that he needs to be the next Messi, the next Ronaldo, the next sort of constant in football. But I mean, on Messi, it just seems like you can't put Argentina away. It's just every single time I think Argentina are down and out. I saw it against Egypt. Even a little bit against Switzerland. I mean, that Egypt match was absolutely insane. 2-0 down.
Do you think... Let's talk a little bit of politics. Right, let's do it. Why not? I mean, this is the off-air product.
Yes.
Right? I don't think the BCCSA will give us too much flack about this. But
yes.
Is there an inclination from FIFA to sort of give Argentina the benefit of the doubt? If you look at the red card which was given to South Africa, the red card which should have been given to, was it Messi? Not Messi, somebody else in Argentina. The goal being disallowed, being brought back, I don't know how many minutes or phases back.
Yeah.
Was it really a foul on left back, Manchester United playing for Argentina? Martinez.
Yeah.
Was that really a foul? Do you go back and do you think it's an inclination from people to want to see Messi, who's currently playing in the US?
Yeah.
The David Beckham's, the connection that exists there.
Look, I can see the fine. Look, so the argument is that for FIFA, there's a huge financial incentive to have someone like Messi still involved in your competition as long as possible. Obviously, when Messi's involved in any tournament, he brings more media attention, he brings more money. So I can understand why, when you have someone like Messi, I can understand why people might think that is the reason why you would give, sort of go in favor of them. With that being said, though, I do think that looking at Argentina, there is now such a massive narrative around FIFA favoring them that I would think that if imagine you're a ref now, and
you want to go in the opposite direction,
and you aren't told. I mean, obviously, so if we're going with the fact now that obviously there's no sort of backroom collusion going on. There's no like money under the table going on here. Imagine you're a ref and you're refereeing a match against Argentina. You have probably heard countless stories about how refs are favoring Argentina, FIFA's favoring Argentina. You are going to that match thinking, oh my word, like I actually almost need to make sure that I'm as neutral as possible here. Unfortunately, in any refereeing circumstance, it's up to a ref, and a ref can get something wrong. I don't think he got all the things against Argentina and Egypt wrong. I think there were maybe some that a different referee would have given a different way, but I personally don't think that they are sort of favored towards that. I do just think Egypt played really well, and they just did not play well in that final sort of 10 minutes. And we've seen it actually.
Wow, it is the wildest 10 minutes.
We've seen it with so many African teams, actually. If you look at almost all the African teams that were eliminated, they were eliminated in the final 10 minutes of the match.
What do you reckon that is? Concentration?
I don't know what that says
fitness?
About. Maybe it's that. I mean, maybe it's also just the fact that we aren't used to sort of seeing out games, or when we have the lead, you can have a lead for as long as possible, you can dominate for as long as possible, but if you don't see out those closing moments when people are getting tired, when legs are getting tired, when you're losing concentration, that's really when you can lose games. And we've seen it. I mean, DR Congo did it against England. We saw it now with Egypt as well, unfortunately.
Concentration levels.
Cape Verde as well against Argentina. Like they equalized very late on in that match, Argentina. And it's just it's hilarious. Someone was saying like if these World Cup matches lasted 80 minutes, we'd have a lot more African teams in in the quarters and semis. But I think it's very easy for Egypt, especially, to point the finger at referees, their decisions, but they need to point them at themselves as well and say, hey, look, we really let ourselves down there. Like 2 of the 3 goals Argentina scored were just complete errors from Egypt, from their defense. So I mean, we can sit here and argue about, maybe the ref favor, maybe not, but at the end of the day, Egypt didn't do enough to hold on to a 2-0 lead 86 minutes into a match. Like, that's when you play a 10-1 formation, that's when you make sure that everyone is as focused as they can be to make sure that they keep this result, and they didn't do that. And unfortunately, that was our final African team sort of out of the competition. So I don't know. I think lots of people tell you different things. I personally don't think that there's favoring going on here, but I guess we'll see against England. We'll definitely see.
But you still reckon, so by what you're saying, I'm picturing you saying an England-France final.
Yeah,
Who's going to win the World Cup then?
I think
the next time we record,
yes,
the World
we'll
Cup
be chatting about that.
Will be a thing of the past.
True, I can't believe it's already done now. Like, it feels like it's been.
So who is Adrian Endley, our sports plug right here? on play-by-play, off air, online. Of course, also on a Saturday morning between 8 and 9 a.m. on air. Adrian's also our sports plug, of course.
Sure.
Stick your neck out, come on.
This is tough.
We'll unpack more of this, folks.
I think, yeah. So look,
on Saturday morning.
I think it's a bit of a head and a heart thing. Again, the head is saying the logistical choice here is France. Going off their form, going off their players, going off how hungry these players look. It's France, I think. I think that's your World Cup winner. I would love to see England finally breaking their over 60-year curse.
1966.
Actually, no, it's 1960. So it's almost like I can't do the maths now, but I'm sure you can do it at home. I think that's almost 80 years.
Yeah.
That would be 80 years this year. 1966.
Years,
yeah.
Or whatever,
Brody, run the math there. What's that?
Yeah,
80, 60, 80. Anyway, I think it might be 86. Anyway, I would love to see them win. I'd love to see them win. I think for years we've seen so many talented English players come through and get nowhere with the World Cup. The furthest England have gone is a semi-final back in 2018. They have the chance now to better that, to get into a final. And I think if they get into that final, you would think that they would be very primed to go on and win it. But France is looking very dangerous.
I have to make a special mention. Jude Bellingham.
Yes, 100%.
Isn't it just fantastic to see how he's sort of marshalling this England team now?
Yeah.
Look, Harry Kane, of course. It's a really well-led team.
Do you know what's crazy, Morgan? Is that England's only scorers in this team have been Harry Kane, Jude Bellingham, and 1 goal from Marcus Rashford. Those have been England's scorers in this World Cup. Like, those are the ones that have... Harry Kane has 6, Jude Bellingham has 6, Marcus Rashford has 1. That is who's been scoring their goals this World Cup. So
can you close them down? Or can you close them down?
Can you even... I mean, is Bellingham going to even start after his... Did you see his little... war of words with Thomas Tuchel? I don't know what you made of that. Immediately after the match, they interviewed Thomas Tuchel, the England manager, and they asked him, they said, well done, what are your thoughts? And he said, look, I think we got very lucky. I think we didn't play as well in many departments, and we got lucky to get the result we did. And then he asks, the same interviewer then talks to Bellingham immediately after and says, hey, look, Tuchel says you guys didn't play well. And he just says, well, whatever. He hasn't played in these conditions, having to play against the quality of players that we have. I don't know. I feel like that was poor form from Tuchel's part. You've just made this amazing win against a very tough Norway team, and I'm sure that he's a perfectionist. He has all these issues that he saw with the team, but surely in that moment you just go, well done, guys. Like, we pulled it off. Tomorrow we get back into training and we'll analyze all of the mistakes we made. You know what? This is the perfect scenario for me of, like, hindsight's the perfect science. Because if England go on to win the World Cup, everyone will say, well, Tuchel was hard on them and he made sure that they stayed disciplined and blah, blah, blah. True. They lose to Argentina and everyone goes, Tuchel never appreciated it. He didn't, he was too hard on the players, etc. And if you listen to, and if I'm honest with you, I think that this Jude Bellingham's comment comes from the strong leadership that Harry Kane sort of possesses, because a lot of what Harry Kane has been saying in media interviews has been enjoy every moment. Because you so often, to the duration of a World Cup, what often happens in teams, I've never been to a World Cup, so from what I've heard Harry Kane say, is throughout the duration of the World Cup, you're so fixated and so focused on the end result of winning the World Cup that you forget to enjoy the results on the way there. And we know the margins are so small. They could lose to Argentina and they're out of the World Cup. And if they didn't enjoy winning the quarterfinals and then winning the last 16 and winning the last 32, you go to the World Cup game, well, this was a failure. But the margins are so small. And so I'm a big advocate for what Harry Kane has come out and said in terms of go out and enjoy every single victory. And he did that. He said that in an interview after, I think it was a round of 32 match that they won. And I thought, this is how it actually should be. Because otherwise, you get so drowned by the occasion and the pressure of, we need to, correct the wrongs of 1966 after they had won and we never won it again. And the pressure of we're the golden era, we're not going to, you forget to enjoy it. And so I really, really hope that I think Bellingham's comments are as a direct reflection of what Harry Kane has been preaching to the team, and through his strong leadership, I've got a funny feeling that is a super galvanized, together England team that I'm seeing. And what's so interesting is whenever you look at the teams, if you look at that early 2000s team where you had the likes of Scholes, Gerrard, Lampard in midfield, you had Beckham up front, you had Rooney, you had Ferdinand. That was a golden generation. But Rio Ferdinand always says that what was so interesting about that team was it was very divided. Like when they went into training, when they had meals, it was almost like here was the Chelsea section, here was the Man United section, here was the Liverpool section, here was that section. Their club sort of rivalries actually bled into the team, and they weren't able to just be a good unit. Whereas now we're seeing the total opposite. And I think Gareth Southgate was someone that sort of brought that into the England squad, was sort of breaking down that club tension that's always going to be there, because you're playing club football more than you are your international football. And sometimes there's almost more pride for your club than there is for your nation. And we've seen that now with this team, and England recently that's gone completely. There is a whole new culture there, which always helps a team.
I've been involved in teams, national teams, where I've had seen exactly that. I never played for the Springboks, but I was involved in the Springbok setup once upon a time.
Yeah.
And it was in a build-up, I think it was to the British and Irish Lions tour. And being part of a squad like that and seeing, I mean, it's natural, right?
Yes.
You spend every day with someone. Yeah. Of course, you're closer with them.
Yeah.
But a strong coach and a strong captain is able to let players understand that you're not here as the Bulls or the Sharks or the Stormers. But so often, I would see, as good as the players were in the environment, it was still not a click. It's not an unhealthy thing, but like the Bulls players would sit here, the Sharks players would sit here, the Stormers would sit here, and then the Lions would find sort of pockets of where the Cheetahs would find pockets, because they were obviously the least amount of players in the squad. And so I think what they're getting right now is not having that club divide in the national setup. And the same applies to the Springboks, actually. Is I'm now seeing a Springbok setup where Rassie has gone and said, the Vusi Moyes of this team, you're not like, I saw an interview the other day, said you wanted to walk the team and call Sia uncle. Call this one uncle. And Rassie's gone, no. You earned your right to be here. First name basis, we're all playing for the same team. It's all sitting on the same hymn sheet. There's no real hierarchy. Besides, obviously, on the field, decisions need to be made. Experience plays a role. So I think it's a good time for us to obviously show focus.
I was going to say, that was a very good transition into the rugby.
Correct. But before we get to the rugby thing, I also just very quickly want to touch on the passing of Jaden Adams. I think it will be inappropriate of us not to mention it. And from everybody here at Play by Play, off air and online, and on air, in fact, we send our condolences to him and his family. And of course, wish his family all the very best in this healing process. Of course, never nice to lose somebody, irrespective of the surroundings and what is being said, and I think it's been confirmed about his passing. But we certainly want to wish their family, sort of healing and strength during this time of bereavement. 25 years young. And
I think especially, like you just mentioned now, I can just imagine how his team are feeling. I mean, they spent many weeks closely together in that camp in Mexico, and I can just imagine that he was obviously a massive part of that team unity that was very present for Bafana. So I'm sure just for them as well, they are probably reeling as well. So
thoughts and prayers are with his family, his friends, and all his loved ones during this time. I mean, it was crazy. I just saw now Sundowns have actually sort of postponed their pre-season tour to, I think it's Austria or somewhere where they're going to go. Just for, sort of.
No, that's understandable. No, definitely understandable.
Crazy. Life is so short. Make sure we call one another and phone a friend. Find out how they're doing. When last we caught up with a friend and said, just touch base. Sometimes that's all we really need, from the highs of the World Cup to, unfortunately, this sad news that we've got to deal with. So,
imagine.
Once again, finally, our thoughts and prayers with Jaden Adams and his family and all his loved ones during this time. Okay, let's focus quickly. We haven't got too much time left. Oval Ball Nations Championship. We haven't spoken since the start, or have we?
We spoke about... Yeah, we actually haven't. No. I think the last thing we spoke about was the Barbarians. Yeah, we haven't spoken about this.
Springboks, 10 changes every week. Still performing well.
On a Monday as well. Rusty's a madman, honestly. Well, this Scotland game, I think, was probably the biggest gamble. Because I know Rassie said from the beginning, the whole coaching staff said that they want to test out as many formations, combinations, all that. But I thought it was bold to give a very inexperienced team a run against Scotland, who are very dangerous. And we saw this. You saw how they played. 14 all at halftime. And I genuinely thought from there, like, if we don't make some adjustments here, we could actually see a loss. But isn't it just amazing that even though we have lots of inexperienced combinations and players playing for us, we're still able to pick up a win? Scotland did put up a very good fight, though, and we must remember this was a Scottish team that has been on the up recently. So I think even though the result wasn't the greatest, to still walk away with a win, and this isn't anywhere near our first team, I think is a very impressive feat for the Springboks.
Wild to me. You take, and don't hold me to this, but I'll get the number pretty close. You take Peter Steph out of the pack that finished the game against the Scots on Saturday, and you have amongst the 8 forwards, I think 57 caps. And you know what's funny?
That is wild.
The closeness of the game is almost beneficial to the experience that these youngsters gain through doing this. It's insane.
Yeah.
I mean, our depth is absolutely wild. Again, this week,
yes, yeah.
Russia has made another 10 changes. Vusu Moyo at 10, I think, is certainly a man for the future. I feel so sorry for Riley Norton because he's definitely a man.
I know. He really would have,
But his hamstring, I had a chat to his dad, and it seems as though, he's still got to do more tests around the hammy. But he's obviously not available for this week.
Yeah.
But our depth is really wild. And if you look at our under-20s that just won in the semi-final.
Yes, against England,
England. They're now playing in the final against France.
Nice.
I think it's probably this weekend as well.
Yeah.
Our rugby is seriously in good hands.
100%. I mean, what kind of team can start, players that haven't, we have 4 debutants making their appearance here, 2 on the bench, 2 on the field. And it's just like, what other team is able to do that? Like, what other team is able to go, we can actually just rest like 10 of our star players and play a team that is very capable to go out there and win. I know we are playing against Wales, who haven't had the best run recently, but still, I mean, on an international level, to be able to do that we are extremely just blessed as a rugby country.
Do you know who is insane for me? And I was lying in bed this morning and I was reading a WhatsApp thread that we have of a bunch of rugby players on a WhatsApp group. Peter Steph the Toy played 0 club rugby, was injured for a large portion, comes back into international rugby, and is an absolute
just bosses it.
Workhorse. Bosses it.
Yeah.
Now the captain of the box.
Yes.
Does it get, an unsung hero if I've ever seen one.
Oh yeah, 100%.
2-time World Player of the Year. If he gets a third one, I won't be surprised.
No, not at all. I mean, he's the only one that started every single match so far.
Is he not the exact reflection of what a Springbok team looks like?
Yeah.
That would be
100%.
fair to say, right?
100%. He is the embodiment of that Springbok spirit. Just absolutely, hardworking, willing to get down and dirty, and also just even if they haven't played a lot of club rugby or been, as soon as they put on the green and gold, for some reason it's like they just transform into a different player. They're just ready to absolutely die for that badge. And I mean, well done to him. He's about to reach 100 caps very soon. He's on 97 now.
Oh, wow, okay.
This will be his 98th cap against Wales, and then 2 more, then he has 100 as well. So
yeah, and how deserved wouldn't that be for him to get 100? You know what was funny for me was
well
Cheslin Kolbe only has 50. That for me was wild.
Yeah, actually.
I feel like he's been around for years as well.
That was interesting because I remember there was a time where, for some reason, Cheslin Kolbe wasn't playing for the Springboks, and he was playing really well for the Stormers for a long time. And I remember, I just remember I was younger.
I think that must have been the Mapimpi era.
I think it was just before that, because he did feature. Yeah, he featured in the 2019 World Cup. I remember just before that, I can't remember who I think it was Heineke Meyer was the coach, and he for some reason just wasn't selecting.
That's right.
And everyone in Cape Town was saying you need to start.
Sibon Corsi, were all keeping him out.
Yeah, and it's just crazy. Yeah, like you said, he only has 50 caps. Like, it feels like he's been around. He's been featuring a lot more. He's sort of like a default player for the Springboks now. But yeah, still amazing. It's interesting to see people like Kurtley Arendse, who's going to step up this week as well. There's also someone else. Oh, Herschel Yankees, who we haven't seen for a while, sort of getting he's on the bench. He could come on at 9 as well. Mani Libok as well.
Interesting team that Rusty's chosen this week.
Yeah,
it's like a very mixed bag of experience and youth, and so I mean, what do you make of it? Quickly to wrap up, we're running out of time now. To wrap things up, the box performances so far, you happy? And obviously looking towards the greatest rivalry.
Sure. I wonder if Rusty's going to.
The All Blacks are also not looking bad, everything.
No, they really aren't. And I'm actually wondering Rusty's approach to this, because obviously it's a one-off tour. I wonder if he will experiment with the team as much as he is doing right now. Or do you sort of say, no, we're going to play our strongest team week in and week out and sort of keep on like sharpening that team to make them ready for the World Cup? Because what an opportunity to play probably one of the other best team in the world right now 4 times over and just carry on working on your game. Or does he play more different combinations? I don't know, but so far what we've seen is really good. I mean, even though with all the chopping and changing, which can upset any normal team, we're still picking up very positive results, and I think the match against Wales will be no different. And then after that we have Argentina, I think we have, and then it's Traders rivalry, which is going to be so good.
Well, there you have it. Our sports plug Adrian giving us the full rundown. All things rugby, all things football, and there's so much more sport, but we're running out of time, so I haven't been able to touch on everything else. But over the next couple of weeks, we certainly will shift focus, because after this, FIFA World Cup will be a thing of the past. Hopefully, England will be crowned champions, and we'll move on to the greatest rivalry and so much other sports. So stay tuned to Play by Play Off Air Online, of course, every Thursday evening, 7 p.m. Every second Thursday evening, 7 p.m. We'll catch you again next week, same time, same place. Have yourselves a fantastic sporting weekend, and we'll catch you 8 to 9 a.m. on Saturday morning on Play by Play on air with myself, Morgan and Adrian. Goodbye, everybody.